All right. We are live
Oh, hey.
and unmuted. So, hey,
Ooh,
off to a great start, guys.
There we go.
Yeah, only took me how long to figure that out.
it's
Um,
all right.
Let me hit record here and then we're good to go. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devin.
Each week, we like to take turns making each other watch movies one of us has never seen before. We're breaking that formula a little bit today because back in, what was it, March? For the
Yeah,
Oscars,
right in March. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
each year we do an Oscar bet, and with the Oscar bet, whoever wins that bet gets to do a wild card episode. For my wild card episode, I decided to get myself pumped up for my concert experience that I'm going to tomorrow evening, which is Hans Zimmer live. So today we're going to be taking a look at not one, not two, not three, but four Hans Zimmer scored films. Talk about his career as a composer, pay tribute to the late great James Earl Jones, and a little bit more. But before we get into that, we usually start off the show with things that we've watched in pop culture in a segment we call "We Watch This." I teased something last week that I wanted to talk about now, and I'm not going to get too deep into it because I want people to go check out the podcast that I did with our friends over at Victims and Villains. But I was able to see an early screening of the 4:30 movie, Kevin Smith's new film, that takes place in his movie theater. Have you guys seen the trailer for this?
I've only seen the poster.
Okay.
Same.
Okay. So what this is pretty much a Kevin Smith memoir. It's the story of teenagers during the summer going to the movie theater and just hopping from movie to movie. And the main kid asks a girl out, so like their date is the 4:30 movie. Like they're gonna meet at the 4:30 movie. So it's just the hijinks of like sneaking around the theater, dealing with the manager played by Ken Jeong. It's a lot of fun, and I think this is something up both of your alleys, because it does what Kevin Smith's does well, which is like the silly pop culture humor stuff. But it also does what he's been doing recently with like Clerks 3, which is like kind of like personal stuff. Like it's a very personal film. Probably his most personal since Chasing Amy. Like it's very much his story. I guess Clerks 3 was personal too with the heart attack stuff, but that was also just those characters. This is more based on his life and his interactions with his experiences at the movie theater. A lot of fun cameos in this from anyone you'd know from Kevin Smith stuff.
Oh.
Devin, when you're in town, I'm tempted to take you to Smodcastle just for fun.
I want to go. It's on like my short list.
Yeah.
And I want to see this movie real
Yeah.
bad. So is it in the View Askew universe?
No, but it's adjacent.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's like if I had to guess, it's a branch of the View Askew universe.
Oh, they're doing the multiverse. Good.
No, not real. Like it's Kevin Smith's story without it being Kevin Smith as the main character.
Sure.
It's like a different name, but it's his story. Like, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but you can listen to me and Josh Berkey talking all about the film on Victims and Villains podcast. I'll make sure to share that to our socials. So make sure you like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram for more details on that. Devin, you're actually on a Victims and Villains podcast this week too, aren't you?
I am, because you guys won't let me talk about a series of movies I want to talk about, so I made them watch it.
What'd you talk about over there?
Human Centipede 2, full sequence.
Yeah,
Guys,
that's why. Like that's
I'm specifically stopping you guys from needing to watch these movies. They went above and beyond over there. Most people on the podcast saw all three in preparation for this one. I only asked for the second one. And it works. You can just hop into the second one. It's such an accessible series.
So the second one is full sequence.
That's great.
The second
Yeah.
one's full sequence. What's the third one?
Madness.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
so
looking it
so pretty much, it doesn't matter which one you start on, because the first one is just like the introduction, and then the second one is like you said, and then the third one is madness. Doesn't that kind of follow along with like waking up inside a human centipede? Like, doesn't that kind of follow along with like your role in that chain?
Oh, Ryan. I love this. So the Human Centipede movies are a human centipede. So the third one's called The Final Sequence.
Yeah.
The Human Centipede movies are a human centipede. So Human Centipede 1 is actually a movie that's shot in color that has a plot and characters and drama and action and stakes. The second movie is literally fed from the first movie but contains less nutrients because the second movie second movie
Yeah, so
the
I'm right.
first movie
Okay.
the first movie is a movie, and the main character of the second movie is inspired by the first movie to do the human centipede in that movie, and the movie's in all black and white because it has less substance, and the characters only say one word. The main character only says one word the whole movie because of less substance. And then the third movie, Final Sequence, is not only a longer human centipede, but is an abstraction of what happened in the second one, and is just screaming and red and sepia tones. It's incredible. This series is smarter than anyone gives it credit for because poop, but also it's so good.
We've spent way too
So-
much time talking about this.
So
We have an
my
hour
final
on it.
thing of my final thing about Human Centipede is that I love the song Red Flags that has to do with that movie.
I need to watch it or listen to it. I don't know it.
I will send the music video to the group chat.
Please, please, please.
Speaking of the group chat, get ready for the game, boys.
I'm ready.
All right, All right, so today's main topic, as I mentioned before, is we're going to talk about the films of Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer is an American composer. Hans Zimmer is a composer. I don't think he's American. I take that back immediately. Hans Zimmer is a composer known for The Lion King, Interstellar, a lot of work with Christopher Nolan, the Pirates of the Caribbean films, which we'll talk about the history there a little bit because I had to do some research. And evidently Pearl Harbor, which are the four movies we're going to talk about today. But before we do that, last week it was brought up that these guys don't know what Hans Zimmer looks like. So we're going to play a game now. Boys, check your phone.
Oh, it's this game.
On screen, I have 5 film composers, one of which is Hans Zimmer.
Oh.
I need
this
you to
isn't
tell me
fair at
which
all.
one is Hans Zimmer.
When was
Without-
his
Can I
earliest
just-
film? Can I ask that question?
Yep.
What was the question?
When was his earliest film?
When was his earliest film? I don't. He started working in the 80s.
Okay, I got him.
Okay.
Can I just give you can I just shout out a number? Like,
Yeah.
Is that how
Yes.
this works?
Yes.
Okay, 3.
Nah, he's number 1.
Okay. One of you is
100%.
right. One of you is right.
I gotta be right. He looks. I think he's right because he looks. The number 1 if you have it on screen now, he looks vaguely German. He's got this like kind of ageless like thing going on where he could be anywhere between 40 and a really good 70 in that picture. I think I'm right.
And 3's the same way. Like, I would give the same excuse for 3, or
See,
not
4
excuse, but the same reasons for 3.
I was gonna go for 4, but it seemed too obvious. Like it seems like that's gonna be like, is that Schumacher? No, that's not Schumacher. 4 just seems too like too kindly of an old man for this. 2 looks like he did the soundtrack to 500 Days of Summer, and 5 looks like he did the soundtrack to Monsters Inc.
No.
All right. So we're gonna go through who is listed here because I really want you guys to know. Number 5 is Michael Giacchino.
That's what he looks like.
Known
Okay.
for Lost, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films. Works with Pixar a lot, so The Incredibles, Up. That 10-minute sequence at the
So
beginning.
close.
Yeah, that's Michael Giacchino. Number 4 is John Williams, known for Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jaws, Jurassic Park. Number
For
two.
not recognizing him.
Number two is Ludwig Johansson, who has worked with Nolan more recently. He did Tenet, and Oppenheimer. He's also worked on The Mandalorian, and works with Childish Gambino a lot because he also worked on Community.
Nice.
Number one is not Hans Zimmer.
Damn it.
It's Alan Silvestri, who is known for the Avengers films.
Okay. Yep.
Also did The Abyss, which we talked about a few months ago at this point. And also Father of the Bride. Number three is Hans Zimmer.
No way.
Hans Zimmer
I'm
also
so happy.
I'm really surprised you didn't recognize Hans Zimmer from his work in the Video Killed the Radio Star music video.
Is he in that?
He is, yes.
What?
He was in the Bugles. He's
Yay,
the keyboard
so-
player for that. So
Oh,
Ryan
Whoa.
wins.
The reason why I picked that one was because one, he looked about the age range, exactly why Devin picked his,
Uh-huh.
but also the smugness in the picture. I would expect
I
Hans
wouldn't
Zimmer
say
to be
he's
smug.
smug. I wouldn't say he's smug. It's just like, yeah,
That
he's
is a
he's
smug
leaning.
picture. He's leaning back. He's
Okay.
got like a yeah, that's right. Take my picture. Grin on his face.
Yeah, he got that from Ben Affleck watching Pearl Harbor.
I'm so
All
excited
right.
to talk about these movies.
Yeah. So we're gonna start off. We're gonna do these in release order. So and also celebrating a few anniversaries of some of these films too, because the first one is 30 years old this year.
Mhm.
And also like a double dip into what we're doing tonight, because not only is The Lion King scored by Hans Zimmer, but also features the late great James Earl Jones, who played Mufasa. So this was not originally one of our picks, so this wasn't something that we planned on doing until this week when James Earl Jones passed away. So none of us have really will have point to take on this. So I guess we can just start off with, what is your guys' history with The Lion King? Because for me, I remember going to see this at like the $5 theater multiple times when I was a kid. And I remember this vividly because one of the times the film went off the track and we had to like get a refund.
Oh.
So like I saw this multiple times in theaters. So yeah, like this took me back a bit. What's your guys' history with The Lion King?
I'll go because I'm Disney adult Devin. I love this movie. I've seen this movie more times than I can count. I can quote the movie. I love all of the movies around this one. I'm one of those weird people that likes Lion King 1.5 and likes Lion King 2. And actually, they're pretty great guys. I'm also the same kind of guy that anytime someone brings up the Lion King, I go, it's just Hamlet, right? So like, I'm both the good and the bad of this fan base.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You're not.
Ryan, how about you?
I saw it in theaters when it came out. I was a fan of it, like everyone else in like our age group when it came out, but I haven't watched it in a very long time. Because I refuse to accept the song, the male song or whatever that they added
Morning Report.
to the movie. Yeah, I refuse to acknowledge that song, so I will not watch a version of that movie that has that song in it. So unless I unless I want to take the time to break out my CD booklet and unzip it and look for The Lion King and put the disc in my Xbox, I haven't seen it in a while. So
you could do what I did, which is break out the VCR and watch it on VHS.
Yeah, buddy.
Like it's
Is that how you watched it?
1995. This is how I watched it last night.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, this is my Lion King VHS. I also have Lion King 2, so that's on the agenda to watch here soon. I want to show you. We were talking a bit before the show about the prices of VHS tapes, and I said there was a reason mine might actually be worth a little bit of something. it still has the inserts.
Oh, that's incredible. What do they say?
Let's find out. I haven't actually looked because I want to do it on the show. I can enter the Burger King Kids Club.
Forgot about that.
I've got
Burger King's Kids Club was the best.
Yeah.
I can give my feedback to Walt Disney Home Video. I might actually send this in. No postage necessary. So
That would be funny.
Absolutely going to send that in. I've got a
Yes.
coupon for a $5 refund from Pillsbury. Oh boy. Okay, they expired in 1995. I might try to use these and see what happens.
I wonder what would happen.
But yeah, Hungry Jack, Pizza. Yeah, like all the Pillsbury stuff is still the same.
That's so cool, though.
What else we got? We got The Lion King of all Disney World vacations. Hurry, 4 days and 3 nights of roaring good times at Disney World from $295.
That's such a good price. That's insane.
$295
It is like 5 times that
prices
now.
start at $295 for adult, $175 for a junior, and $142 for a child.
And that's per day or per night? What is that?
No, I think that's for like all of it. Like that's like the vacation package.
So it was 200
Yeah.
and how much?
$295, so 300, like for just $300.
300.
But also, I
and-
love the old school Walt Disney World logo
I really like that, yeah.
because when I watched the movie, they had a commercial for Walt Disney World and it had that logo, and I was like, oh man, that takes me back.
It's only $620.
I was gonna say, did you inflation calculate it?
Yeah, $620.
That's still cheaper than what it is now.
That's
It's almost double
more
now.
than half.
Yeah.
Bunch of Lion King toys.
Oh, they're incredible.
Yeah.
And it's in such. Was this your original VHS? Because it's all in really
No,
good condition.
I got this at Goodwill like 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
I can get some magazines, Family PC magazine.
Is that even around anymore? Why does it have so many inserts?
I don't know, but it also has like a catalog of all the Disney movies that you can get. Let me just go through this and see which ones I have. Have that one. Have that one. Don't have any of those.
What are those?
Angels in
Which
the
ones don't you
Outfield?
have?
I don't have any of
Oh.
these like 60s, 70s ones that.
Where they were doing like the live action stuff,
Yeah.
like what was it? The computer that wore tennis shoes, or
I have Blank Check. Like I do have that one.
What a
On
weird
VHS.
movie.
I have these all on VHS. Oh, remember Disney sing-alongs? They were fun.
yes, they were. They were incredible.
Ooh, Bill Nye the Science Guy on VHS.
Mhm.
Was he a Disney property?
I think they distributed him.
Got it.
Yeah, they presented the show. So I think they did the home video at least. Gargoyles, there we go.
Oh,
And then and then just to end everything out, your personal best workout is on the back of this. I don't know what that is, but that has nothing to do with Disney.
is it like Jane Fonda? Like, is it someone that we know?
Elle Mackinson.
No.
Nah. I
Ellie
don't know who that
Mackinson.
is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either. Anyway, back to the Lion King. This is a movie that I haven't watched in years. I've been waiting for a reason to watch this. And this was my reason. So,
Ugh.
and I got to say, this movie holds up.
Yeah, man.
But before we dive into the Hans Zimmer of it all, let's talk about James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
93 years old when he passed away this week. His performance as Mufasa is breathtaking, to the point where when they remade it with Jon Favreau in live action, they brought him back. Because how do you replace James Earl Jones as Mufasa? You don't.
You don't know.
And I have not seen the live action version. I think we might do that for Mufasa when that comes out here
That's fair.
later this year.
Brian, you'll
But-
have to just cover your ears for the one part, because I think they do bring back the morning report for that version.
See,
Oh.
oh my God. See that. I'll rant about it later. It's about
We don't need to.
It'll be a bonus episode.
But yeah, I like besides Mufasa, like obviously he's Darth Vader. Were there any other roles for James Earl Jones briefly that you guys think of when you think of him as an actor?
I now think of Strangelove, because he's in that. Was that him? Right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
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 Field of Dreams as I think it was Charles Mann. His first name was Charles, but his last name was Mann. He was the author. And then also Coming to America.
Yeah.
For me, it's also Sandlot. I like him a lot in Sandlot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know why. Don't know. I was expecting Ryan to say Sandlot, but it looks like
No, I got your baseball movie, Ryan.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams has him in it more than he's in Sandlot.
That's
Sandlot's pivotal. Like, it is a pivotal character in that movie, but he has more screen time in Field of Dreams.
That's fair.
I forgot how stacked this voice cast is. Like, besides James Earl Jones, you've got Jeremy Irons as Scar, Nathan Lane as Timon, Matthew Broderick as adult Simba, Jonathan Taylor Thomas as young Simba, which I completely forgot until I watched this. It's like, oh yeah, JTT's in this.
Did you like hear his voice and understand it was him, or did you look it up?
Oh, I knew immediately that it was him.
I'm so impressed. I could never have done that.
Yeah. So music-wise, what is your guys' favorite musical moment from this film?
So not song, but musical
moment.
Okay, then I'm going to pick the one that everyone's going to pick, the part where Simba's running through the desert in slow motion, that they completely ruin in 1.5, but in this one it's very dramatic and very cool.
Okay.
I agree. I don't have a backup. It was going to be that one.
It's like the best moment.
It is.
I'm a big fan of Be Prepared.
Musically, anyway.
I love Be Prepared.
Yeah. Like that's the one that I got to sing. Like I started singing along to last night when I was watching it. It's like, be prepared for the coup of the century.
Oh, what gets me is his language in that.
Yeah.
He's so well spoken.
Yeah, very Shakespearean.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I like, as much as I love the Elton John songs and Can You Feel the Love Tonight and Hakuna Matata, like I've always liked the score to this. King of Pride Rock, when Simba takes Pride Rock back and the sky breaks and it's raining, and like I've always liked that, and I'm very excited that I get to see that live tomorrow night.
What was it, 2 months ago? I don't think I told you guys this, but we went to Royal Albert Hall, and they were doing that thing that they sometimes do where they show the movie on the screen but have the live orchestra and a choir along with the movie, and they did it to Lion King since its 30th anniversary. And like, I've seen this movie, I know what happens, I know the music. That scene in particular at the end, I still cried at. It was so good, especially with like the live orchestra and like the real choir. Oh, what a moment.
There's something else I wanted to talk about. Ryan, you got anything? While I look this up quick.
In regards to Hans Zimmer and this has got to be one of the more memorable scored Disney movies from when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like this and Aladdin really stick in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was like his first big like Disney score. He did some stuff in the 80s, like he did Driving Miss Daisy. One of the things that's cool about him touring is he gets Lebo M, who sings Circle of Life, to tour with him. So I'll get to hear that live too.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoy this. I've only seen Lion King 2 and 1.5 once each.
You got to do it again.
I got to find 1.5 on VHS, and then I'll be good. I can just do it.
Disney Plus, man, just watch it there.
No. Yeah. So this was a great visit. Rest in peace to James Earl Jones. Um, yeah, long live the king.
Love this movie.
All right, moving on
Oh.
to Ryan's pick for the Hans Zimmer tribute, which is 2001's Pearl Harbor, directed by Michael Bay and starring Ben Affleck, Josh Hartnett, and Kate Beckinsale.
Yes. That is definitely the movie I picked.
Yeah, it is.
Done.
Can I just give my first thoughts of watching this movie this week of all weeks?
Sure.
Oh.
Had this movie come out any other time, like this movie came out at the perfect time because it came out in, was it May 2001?
Mm-hmm.
Any
Yeah.
time after that, never would have seen the light of day.
No. I
Okay,
didn't think
so
about that.
actually, I have a differing opinion on that. And I feel like this movie still would have come out. They might have pushed it back a month or two. But I still feel that it still would have came out because Pearl Harbor is a very important event in U.S. history.
Mhm.
And like it's one of those things where like movies that had to deal directly with like was it Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie Collateral got pushed
Yeah.
back by like a year
Oh, right.
because of 9/11. But I feel like because of the historical significance, this would have been those movies that, for people that like to have theories about the government's reaction to 9/11, that the government would have been like, no, 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 no. This is a patriotic push movie. We put this out to get people feel even more patriotic than they are already. Like that's where I feel like this movie would have been. Like that's what have happened to this movie, I think anyway.
I can see it.
But this movie is obviously, as Alan said, Michael Bay. It is one of the few Michael Bay movies that have come out that I will revisit every now and then. And it's a movie that I feel is very much carried by the supporting cast, not the main stars of the film. Because when I watch this movie, all of the issues I have with it have to do with the dialogue of the main characters and some of the acting choices of the main characters. But all of the supporting characters, perfect. And so that's what really makes this movie for me. The music in it stands out pretty heavily because I feel like it's with most Michael Bay movies, he likes to have the music build up the tension. He likes to have the music smother the romantic and smooth moments.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like this movie is a prime example of like what Hans Zimmer can do in that time of his career. And that's one of the reasons why I honestly did pick this. Is because of that. Like I'm not really a movie score person, and movies that where the score stands out to me is very few and far between, and this is one of them. So
Okay. Devin, what were your takeaways from this?
So I don't know if this caught the podcast last time or if I said it offline, but I thought that this movie was directed by the same guy that did Titanic.
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
James Cameron, yeah.
Because I remember seeing this and I went, oh, this is just Titanic, but in Pearl Harbor. And then I watched it again and I went, oh, it's still just Titanic, but in Pearl Harbor. I tried to because Romana was watching a little bit with me. She's like, what's the movie about? And I started to explain it and I kept explaining it and I kept going. I'm like, oh, a lot of stuff happens in this movie. And it's actually pretty cool. Like I like the movie. I think I'm with you, Ryan, where some of the acting choices, not a huge fan of. There was a scene or two where they kept cutting between someone telling a story and then the story happening. And I think that was supposed to almost be kind of Moulin Rouge-y, in terms of how the cuts were happening, and it just didn't work for me. But in general, once it actually gets going and you understand what the main tension is going to be the plot, I really like the movie. As far as the music is concerned, I like the music a lot too. I don't have a standout moment just because it for me it's good but very functional in this one.
Yeah. It does what Hans Zimmer does well, which is plays with emotions. Like he's very good at like doing the emotional stuff, like the thematic stuff, but also the action. Like he's very good at action. When they did Batman Begins, it was him and James Howard Newton teamed up on it. So Hans Zimmer did more of the action stuff. Newton did the emotional stuff, and then they did The Dark Knight together, and then Zimmer did Rises alone. But like he does action very well, and the themes in this, like I can't sing them right now because I've only seen this once in the last 20 years since it like came out. But like I was like, okay, they're like the music is prevalent in this. Going back to what I said at the beginning of this, like what I meant was this movie directed by Michael Bay wouldn't have come out post 9/11 because it's very Michael Bay-esque. I think it would have probably been edited down a bit so it's not as explosion plane crashy. But one of the things that I remember most about this movie is my one and only trip to Disney World was in 2001 in August. And they had the backlot tour, and they had like a stunt from Pearl Harbor set up with explosions and planes and everything. Or no, it wasn't planes. Cool. It was like a ship. They had like a ship that like did a fireball.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I think of when I think of Pearl Harbor.
Okay. I mean,
the film, not the horror, not the date that will live in infamy.
Yeah. One of the things that inspired the 45-minute feels like a 45-minute attack in the movie, Pearl Harbor, was the opening scene in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Because of, like how graphic and how realistic it was, Michael Bay wanted to do the same thing for this. I remember that from like a making of that was on HBO like a year after the movie came out. And they were talking about, showing how they had all the ships lined up to like do all the shots and everything. And they made it a point to say like they wanted to get at the same level of, realism as the opening to Saving Private Ryan, but they wanted to push the envelope a little bit with, the things that happened with the ships and the people in the ships during the attack. There was that. And as a kid, as someone who was 2001. It was the summer 2001, 2002. So this would have been the summer between my freshman and sophomore year of high school. One of the reasons why this movie grabbed me as a kid was, one, they showed the main characters being dyslexic without really naming it because it was the late 30s. It was not the late 30s, probably like the early 30s. So they show the main characters being dyslexic. So I immediately was like, oh, cool. Like, I see myself in this. Like, I see myself as the main character of like a movie. And then one of the other background characters had a stutter, and it wasn't used as a plot device or as a joke.
No.
And even though it ends up in like tragedy, he ends up like, having like a romance in the movie. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm seeing myself in two different characters, and neither one of them is a foot of a joke or negative. And so as a teen, I was like, this is cool. And so, yeah.
Well, I like that because I noticed or picked up on those characters like on that this time because I forgot about like Ben Affleck being dyslexic. And, I liked the whole him getting very nervous about it because, it will disqualify him. His eyes are fine, but that'll disqualify him during the eye test. And that's real and something that they just didn't think about.
Yeah, I mean, they did kind of play it up a little bit. Like, it's not that bad. Like, how he can't read, like, an eye chart. Like, it's not... I mean, it can be almost to that level, but not to that extreme. But still, I'm still happy they did it. But overall, for Hans Zimmer and the score, that's why I picked this one. And it's very early millennium. very traditionally early millennium movie.
There were some scenes in this where I'm like, oh boy, that didn't age very well, and not because it was portraying, the 30s.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, but yeah.
musically, the moment that stuck out to me the most was not anything Hans Zimmer did, but
Oh no.
the Faith Hill song over the end credits. Because I completely forgot that was a thing. um, but no, I think it's interesting that we never got another Hans Zimmer Michael Bay collab. Because I feel like a Hans Zimmer score to Transformers would be interesting.
Turtles.
Did he direct those though?
I don't know. I thought he did. I've never seen them.
I tried. I really tried. I got like 25 minutes in and I had to turn it off. I really tried.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on Pearl Harbor before we move on to our last pick?
Second to last.
No.
Second to last. Sorry. We're so far behind.
It's all right.
Our next pick is Devin's pick, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. The second entry into the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Devin,
we don't
take
talk
it away.
about the first one. So I picked Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest specifically because this is the Hans Zimmer soundtrack that I've listened to most in my life. There are some tracks on here that slap, and I think is some of the series' best music. I love this movie. This is the first time I've rewatched it in probably 10 years. I don't watch the Pirates of the Caribbean series very often, but I forgot how good this movie is, how well it holds up, how well the effects hold up. I think this is, I thought it was even better than I remembered it being on my next watch, or on this watch of it. And specifically listening to the music in it, because for the longest time I'll just listen to the soundtrack and not watch it. But having listened to the music in it so much, I now go, oh, that's where they use this one, or oh, it goes into this scene, and it made it so much better for me. So, just quick. Ryan, have you seen this movie before?
Oh, yeah. I've seen all the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. That's one of the things I remember when I was a teenager. Like, these were really big movies.
Yeah.
Because of the stars that were in it. But yeah, there's the score is really good. This is probably the first time I ever watched it, trying to listen to the score and actually kind of paying attention to it. Yeah, no, I would say it's really good. And the best part is that it's not insanely close to the Gladiator soundtrack, unlike the first one. So I was able to actually enjoy it for its own sake.
That's totally fair. Alan, what about you?
So I have an interesting history with this movie. Somebody I went to high school with had this on CD, and that was the first time outside of Star Wars that I realized you could buy movie scores, just like the whole score on an album. Like I always thought they would only put like a track or two on a CD.
Oh yeah.
This is the first time I was like, oh, you can just buy scores. That person was Devin.
I started you down your addiction. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in years, but I watched it again for this with headphones on. This is like the one Pirates soundtrack that I have on my phone, like in my iTunes library.
Good.
Yeah, I think the score in this is fantastic. I had to do some research though, because I was like, is it a Hans Zimmer score if he's just using the themes from the first one and then doing the history of that? Devin, do you understand any of what happened there?
No, I have no idea.
So Hans Zimmer is a producer on the first Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack. And it looks like, according to what I could find on the internet, he did help he wrote the score, like the themes, but he wasn't credited as the composer for it.
What happened?
I don't know. I couldn't really dive into it. It's like a weird thing, but then he's like this one's like music composed by Hans Zimmer. So it's like, it is his score. Yeah, I really enjoy this movie. It's very much Empire Strikes Back by the end of it.
Oh yeah, 100% it is.
And it does that weird thing where like, we're going to film both of these sequels back to back.
Okay, so 2 questions then. First one, is this your favorite one in the whole Pirates series? Because it is my favorite one in the Pirate series.
Yes, I would say it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ryan?
It's still the first one for me.
Yeah, I can see that though. The first one's a really good self-contained story.
Yeah. Well, that and do you guys remember the whole thing like pirates or ninjas? Or like pirates versus ninjas? Like, do you guys remember any of that stuff?
Oh yeah.
No.
Back in like 2011.
So, yeah, like 2011, 2010. Okay, like that whole thing. I always fell on the ninja side of things. And it was this movie that kind of like made me realize that I'm not really a pirate person for entertainment. Now,
Okay.
I like the movies. I watched almost every single one of them that came out because I really liked the first one. But it was one of those things where it's like something has to really be above and beyond for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna watch this pirate thing.
Sure.
And this movie completely loses me at the water wheel moment.
Oh, when they're fighting on the
when
water
they're
wheel.
fighting on the water wheel. That's just like the first time I saw this movie and that happened, I was like, no, I'm sorry, but no. Like, I know, I know, I know that there's a CGI crew, and you've got one of my favorite actors playing Davy Jones.
Yeah.
Like, you've got all of that going on, and for some reason, it's that moment that takes me out of the movie. It's not the, like walking mollusks on land with swords. It's them going down the mountain on the water wheel sword fighting.
Fair.
So for me, I can accept all of the silly hijinks of these movies because of the source material. Like if you're gonna base anything off of a theme park ride, like yeah, it's gonna be nuts. Like it's not grounded in reality at all. Like
Yeah.
The only thing that would take me out of it is if I had to wait in line for an hour to see the movie. But no, like the wheel sequence that you're talking about is probably one of my favorite ones in the film. Like that's just so much
It's
fun.
creative.
Yeah.
All right.
It is.
And it's got like one of the best pieces on the soundtrack,
creative.
Wheel of Fortune.
It super does.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your favorite soundtrack moment? Because I've got 2 in this one because I've listened to the soundtrack obsessively. The first one I'm actually kind of disappointed how it's done in the movie, but on the soundtrack itself there's a track called Davy Jones. And what I love the most about it is it starts out with a music box playing Davy Jones's theme and then transitions to him playing the organ, which I think is really thematically great and isn't anything that he had done for the first one. Did I take your one?
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah, you did.
Oh no, but my other favorite one was on the soundtrack. It's called Two Hornpipes, and it's when they're all fighting in the bar.
So how do they do it different? Like
Those are just the 2.
do they show him playing the organ in the film? Like is that a sequence
do,
in this?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with this little crab claw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that sequence.
he's so good.
It sounds
He's
so good. Like listen to the Hans Zimmer's live albums. It sounds so good there too.
I gotta listen to the live albums then.
I also just like the Jack Sparrow theme, like the way he does the accordion with it and the violin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like last night I put on the third one when I was going to sleep and I woke up like halfway through. I was like, I don't remember any of this and just turned it off. But I do know like the love theme for Elizabeth and Will is like more prominent in the third one. Like there's like hints of it in this one, but in the third one it like really is like a thing. Which I think I enjoy that musical theme too. It's a shame that we're probably never going to get another Jack Sparrow anything.
They weren't great for a while.
They weren't, but I feel like they could still pull one good one off.
They probably. I mean, look, the last one wasn't that bad. I actually kind of like what they did with it. So, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. But this movie reminded me of something. Alan, I think I've had you, or I think I forced you to play the game that they play in this movie, that Pirates Dice. I'm like
Yes, you have.
99% sure I forced you to play that in high school because I
Yeah,
was enamored with it.
we definitely did that on like marching band.
Yeah, we did.
Um,
Ryan, have you ever played it?
I actually wanted to ask you guys about it, and I'm really glad that you played it because I remember
Yeah.
stocking that game
Oh yeah.
at Walmart, um, and watching the movie again, and I think I had the same reaction when I was younger.
Mhm.
I don't understand what they are talking about when they get past the number of actual dice they have under their cup.
Like what? Like when they're like, because what you're guessing is not just how many dice are under your cup, but how many of that number are under all of the cups around you. So like
Okay.
you might have
Yeah,
two
I did
sixes.
not get that.
Yeah,
I,
got it.
I, 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 I instantly get it now.
Got it.
It makes more sense. It's the first time, and since the movie's come out, that I've actually understood how that was supposed to go.
so
Because I've never understood that.
the when Devin's in town soon, I have a Simpsons version of this game. We can play
What?
this game. Yeah.
They made a Simpsons version of this?
Yeah, in 2007 they made a Simpsons version of everything for the
That's
movie.
incredible.
So I
We
have
gotta play
that.
this.
We will play it. It's in the cups are Duff beer cans. So
Oh, I love it. I'm such a jerk
they weren't-
at this
if they
game.
weren't-
I can't wait.
if they weren't in my garage, I would run and get them right now. But yeah, I think this is the first time I knew who Hans Zimmer was because
Ben.
because Devin. Uh,
You're welcome.
yeah. Yeah. Anything else on Pirates of the Caribbean?
No, man, I love this movie. If you ever dig into the background of this movie, the behind the scenes stuff, basically they didn't tell the cast anything, and all the fun moments of this movie are either from the director surprising the cast with something he just didn't tell them, or Johnny Depp made up a thing.
Which
is fun.
that doesn't surprise me at all.
No, the I got a jar of dirt scene, that's all made up from Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He
I got a
genuinely
jar
fell
of
doing
dirt.
that.
I got a jar.
It's like the best part.
Yeah.
Is Jack Sparrow just pirate Beetlejuice?
Yeah, he 100% is. I mean, if you look into the history of these, like Jack Sparrow's character was the one that made Disney execs the most worried because they wanted him to be like an Errol Flynn like serious character, and the entire production they're like, this guy's ruining our movie, and he's like the best part of them in a lot of ways.
Hang on a second. They wanted the Jack Sparrow character to be played seriously?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was supposed to be played straight.
That does not fit the tone of the rest of the movie at all.
It wouldn't have worked.
And this is why. According to the source material, it's an amusement park ride. Like
That's fair.
the
It's
only
also
thing that
fair.
would make it more realistic is if he was just like a teenager with acne. Like that's how you stay true to the source material.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an amusement park ride. We don't like the fact that he got nominated for an Oscar for something based on a theme park ride is insane to me.
Excuse you. We live in a world where Eddie Murphy's Haunted Mansion exists.
Yeah. And that got nominated for a Razzie. like just
And that and the movie The Rock was in recently.
Jungle Cruise.
The Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. I like that one. I'll maintain
that
that
was
it's
a good
pretty
movie.
Yeah.
It is.
I have not seen it. So
Do it.
or done the Jungle Cruise. I need to go to Disney, guys.
Gotta go to
Good,
Disney.
good thing I have that coupon in my Lion King VHS. So let's move on to our final pick. This is the last one now, right?
This is the last one.
We're going to talk about 2014's Interstellar, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Matthew McConaughey. I'm sorry, Matthew. All right, McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. This is a film that I did not see in theaters, but saw when it was released on home video. 2014 was a weird year for me, so I didn't get to the movies that much. But Yeah, this is quickly becoming my favorite Nolan movie of the last decade. Because I've watched it twice now this year.
Wow.
What do you guys think of Interstellar? Like, what is your history with it?
Do you go first, Ryan?
Yeah, sure, I'll go first. So I've never seen this movie before.
Oh, no way.
So this is my first time. And there are aspects of it that I really, really, really like. There are other aspects of it that that the 10-year-old Discovery Channel obsessed kid in me cannot let me enjoy. And I feel that J.K. Simmons would have been a better actor for the lead role in this instead of all right, Matthew McConaughey.
J.K. Simmons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Devin?
So I had first seen this when it came out. I was like you, I didn't catch it in the theater. I saw it afterwards. I think I must have rented it or something. But I remember enjoying it. I remember thinking in my mind, this is a long and dense movie. Am I ever in the mood for this? And the answer is always no until this happened. I forgot how good of a movie this was. Like, I forgot a lot about it. It is so good. It was less confusing because I remembered when the confusing parts were going to happen and made sure to pay extra special attention to them. But I really, really appreciate how much emotion and depth is behind every part of this movie. And it's so grounded despite it being really high concept.
Yeah, the high concept and how grounded it is what I like about this, because it's so emotional. Like the Cooper and Murph stuff hits hard. And I think a lot of that has to do with the music. Like the use of the organ in this is just you don't really, when you think movie scores, you don't think organs. Like that takes you back to silent film eras when the movie houses had organs and that's what you would get. But here it works so well. Cause you got the Hans Zimmer bass, that was the meme for a while. Like the Inception sound, the bomb.
Oh yeah.
That's Hans Zimmer. It's you expect that from, and you get that here a little bit, but it's also the high pipes with the organs and all that. But it just amplifies the father-daughter relationship here so much. And the score has really been growing on me since I've been watching it this year. And the first time I watched it this year was on my projector with headphones on because I wanted to be fully immersed in it. And then when I watched it for this, you guys remember when I said I got a new TV earlier this summer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I have not hooked up my Blu-ray player to it. I've just been streaming things onto the TV. So I hooked up my Blu-ray player and put this in. This is the first time I watched a Blu-ray on my TV in 3 months.
Wow.
Mind you, I've watched multiple movies on VHS on my CRT TV and have yet, this is the first time I watched anything on the on my 4K upgraded TV on physical media. So it looked fantastic though. I was nervous about 1080 looking weird on the 4K screen, but it looks so good. And what I like about the Blu-ray is it does the aspect ratio jump from standard to IMAX. So it feels
nice
for the IMAX shots. But I really like the score in this. The extended score has a thing where it's the cast reading "Do Not Go Quietly Into That Long Night."
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I really like this is probably this is definitely growing to be one of my favorite Nolan scripts, because there's still a little bit of mystery behind some of what was going on, but it answers a lot of questions about everything that happens in the movie, which isn't really a thing that Nolan does. People still don't know what happens with the top in Inception. And they never will. People still don't know what was up with the voice of Bane in Dark Knight Rises, and they never will. Devin and I were on set, what's he saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
Take control of your city.
I don't think we even heard that.
Yeah.
We heard noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Caine's great in this. I always forget about the turn with his character in this.
Yeah.
But and then it just becomes another we gotta rescue Matt Damon movie.
Oh.
So
Ryan, how did you feel about Surprise Matt Damon? Did you know he was here?
Well, unfortunately, on the streaming service that I was using to watch this, like, he came up on it
Sure.
as, like, being in it. And I was like, oh, okay, he's in this. But then, like, throughout the movie, I forgot about that.
Mhm.
And then when he did show up, and I was like, oh, this again. Okay. And so, like, going through it, and then eventually what happened, and that made me kind of feel better about it. I'm like, oh, good, it's not just a repeat. Okay, awesome. Like, I was actually happy about that. So.
And what's weird is like they go out of their way to hide his picture beforehand. Like it's supposed to be a big reveal. Like, is it going to be another Matthew McConaughey? Is it going to be his wife? Like, what are they hiding? Like, why are they hiding this guy's face? And it's like, no, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had that moment when I was watching Pearl Harbor. I had surprised Dan Aykroyd because I forgot Dan Aykroyd was in Pearl Harbor, and I went, "Oh, there he is."
And you cannot convince me that he's not playing the same character from Temple of Doom.
I hope he is.
That's the universe. It's Dan Aykroyd in Temple of Doom to Pearl Harbor, and then Pearl Harbor to Oppenheimer with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and Josh Hartnett.
You know
Josh
what?
Hartnett's in both.
He is.
And then Godzilla -1. Is there anything about this movie we want to talk about, music-wise, visually? Anything jump out at you guys?
Oh, I mean, it's a treat visually. I mean, every planet they go to is so different, and I mean, I don't know. I love the way the movie looks, and I love the way the movie's scored. I think that it does more with quiet than I think any other movie has. Because one of the big moments that struck me was they found out, it's that big scene where they found out they were 22 years in the future. They had missed all of these recordings. McConaughey has this really emotional scene where he's catching up on his kids over the last couple of years. And then it's dead quiet as they fly down to the next planet, and you feel it. Yeah. And that's such a good musical choice.
Yeah. Ryan, how about you?
Mine is when everything goes to plaid. Like a Spaceballs reference.
Yeah.
It's a really good reference, man.
Yeah, because I mean that's all I could think about. Like he falls into it, and the music score is really good, but unfortunately, all I could hear about halfway through that scene was they've gone to plaid. It was.
Yeah. No, I mean it's fair. Yeah. Those scenes took months to render out because of the data that it's the most scientifically accurate representation of a black hole that you'll ever see on film. Yeah.
Is it really?
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So
tell me your things, Ryan.
That. One, I loved the fact that when he went into it, everything went quiet.
Yes.
Because they did do a lot of things where, like, they're in space and the camera's outside and, like, there's nothing. There's no sound. There's no nothing. Because they're like, this is the emptiness and the vastness of space. Like, this is what it actually is. And I was really happy about that. One of the parts, like I said before, that, like, the 10-year-old in me will not let me just let go. And is, like, everything I've seen, every documentary I've ever seen about a black hole, is that when you go into a black hole, if you survive even getting as close as he did, gravity will literally stretch your atoms into a straight line as it gets, like, sucked in. And that's the part, like, I think it's really cool that he's in there and he's looking, through the bookshelves and everything. Like, like, I love all of that. I love the robot character Taris.
Tars.
Um,
Yeah.
Tardis.
Taris, yeah. It was close, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I loved all of that. I just really wish that they would have done something where, you know, like instead of there being like a super massive like black hole, it was like just a bigger version of the wormhole that they went through.
Oh.
Because that's the one thing I still cannot like again, this movie is so based in like theoreticalness when it comes to gravity and time and everything that like that one little bit I'm like, you guys did such a good job studying up for this, and you literally have him fly into a black hole, which is what we know right now you cannot do.
Well, nothing to say that it is actually a
Ah,
black hole. It might just be
and
a giant wormhole that we.
And they just didn't know what it was.
I yeah, and the thing, and that's very true. But then again, Alan, you said like this is kind of what like what you know like Christopher Nolan does is that you know like some things are left a mystery, some things he doesn't answer. It's up to the viewer to kind of like decide what they want, or maybe that's just he wants you to be left with that you know like unknown. I'm not a big fan of that. I like a little bit of that. I'm not
Yeah.
a fan of like how heavy he can be with it. And like I said, this all goes back to like a stupid little part of myself that just won't let that whole thing go. And that's it. And I understand that. Everything after it I love. Most of it beforehand I love. It's that one
Yeah.
scene that I'm just like he should be a line of spaghetti.
Well, hold
He
on,
should be
hold
a-
on. Let me put my tinfoil hat on for like 3 seconds because I had this thought this time watching the movie. Could it or has it ever been interpreted that he does in fact go into the black hole and he does in fact die, and everything that we see from that point on is his dying thoughts? Because they said the last thing you see, you know, when you die is your kids, and one of the last things in the movie is him seeing his kid.
If that's the case, then I feel bad for Casey Affleck's character because he was nowhere to be seen.
Casey Affleck, that's right.
And if that's the case, as far as I'm concerned, then I'm probably never watching the movie ever again because that would be the worst ending possible for me.
Yeah, Ryan,
The
take
way
your
I
take,
like
take
to
your take your
watch
tin
stories and
hat.
stuff.
Take your do me a favor. Take your tin hat off. Take it off. Crinkle it up and toss it in the corner.
That's Devin.
I got it.
That's Devin. That's Devin.
I'm the tin hat
Devin.
one.
Devin, not me.
Um,
Not me. Devin.
all right. So I told you there's some news about this movie
Yeah.
for this year. So they had planned a 10th anniversary re-release of this for the 27th of September.
Shit.
It got pushed back to December. I want you guys to guess why they delayed the 70 millimeter re-release of this in IMAX by 3 months.
It was going to come out in November?
It was going to come out in December. It was supposed to come out this month, like 2 weeks from now, but they pushed it back to December. I want you to guess why.
They didn't
And
want
what-
to compete with
They
Beetlejuice.
wanted it to line. They
So-
wanted it to line up with the actual Dust Bowl storms that are going to come out of the Midwest that they were
Oh,
depicting
no.
in the movie.
No. So the key to what I said was the 70 millimeter IMAX re-release.
Yeah.
Rumors have claimed that Christopher Nolan was furious when Paramount allegedly destroyed the 70 millimeter prints of Interstellar and wanted to cancel the whole re-release after the studio refused to make new prints. I have proof that Paramount destroyed the 70 millimeter prints of Interstellar in my Blu-ray.
It's you have it.
I have it. I have a cell. And I'm going to show it to you guys. Because this is going to get bright for a second here.
Yeah, what cell
But
did you get?
it's-
Oh, that's very cool.
It's Cooper,
Yeah.
like right after they come back from the 22 years.
Oh, that's like a really good scene to have.
Yeah, it's like him going to play the film. Like he's going to hit the tapes. So, yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to get everybody who has that DVD or that Blu-ray together to ship their cells back. And then he
Splice
has
them
his
all
original
together.
back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This seems doable.
I don't think so. But yeah, isn't that insane?
That's crazy. Why would they do that?
So collectors
Because
like me
they're
have
Paramount.
sales.
Send you a copy, man. You don't need the original.
The fact that they destroyed every print of it though is insane to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that they're making new ones, but still, it's insane. When I saw that,
Sorry.
no, you're fine.
Okay. You got to remember, this is the same company that decided recently to completely and permanently delete all of the MTV News archives that were ever filmed.
And all the Daily Show clips.
They didn't.
Colbert Report.
Yeah,
What?
maybe I don't know, hand it over to the Library of Congress and then delete it out of your system, because that's cultural history. That's legit culture that they permanently deleted.
Why did they do this? Why did they delete all that?
Because they had to make room for the new,
greed.
they had to make room for the new SpongeBob spinoffs in the server.
I hate it.
Yeah.
It's like when my Dropbox is
capitalism.
full and I have to make decisions about what pictures to keep.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
If this actually does get its re-release in IMAX, I will be going to see it because because why not?
Good.
I feel like I missed out not seeing this in theaters, to be
Same.
fair.
Me too. So, all right. I have one more thing that I didn't talk about on the show because I forgot to pull something for it. I had fully intended on watching The Lion King this week, regardless of James Earl Jones passing. I also did some extra stuff. I also watched a movie that I've never seen that's scored by Hans Zimmer, but I own on VHS. I watched Hannibal for the first time.
Hannibal?
Hannibal, the sequel to Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep hearing about Hannibal Lecter in the news, so I thought I'd give it a watch.
No. Oh, no.
No, I watched it because I was curious about it, and I was like, it's Hans Zimmer. Like, I have the score in my music. I was like, I'll watch this and see. It's not great. It's not the worst.
Oh.
Like, I expected it to be a lot worse than it was, but it was like, music's good. Anthony Hopkins is here. Jodie Foster looks like the girl from Lost World Jurassic Park, but hey.
Is it not her?
No, it's not Jodie Foster. It's Julianne Moore.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
That does it for our Hans Zimmer tribute. Next week, I will have a report on how the show was, and stay tuned to our social media for pics and maybe some videos of the show. But I'm excited. I cannot wait to hear the Interstellar score, Pirates of the Caribbean. The one I'm most excited for, though, is Man of Steel. That's the one that I am looking forward to hearing the most. So, yeah. Dune's going to be cool. So,
it's going to be a good show, man. You're going to have a great time.
Yeah, crab cakes and Hans Zimmer. Let's go.
Wait.
Baltimore. It's in Baltimore, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was part of it.
No. But also, I don't know if we said it on the show. Happy birthday, Hans Zimmer. It just kind of worked out that we're doing this on his birthday. So, yeah. Whose pick is it next? Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah, it's mine.
All right. What are you having us watch next week?
It was going to be Hannibal, but now I'm looking through for some other stuff.
Oh, really? Was it really?
I haven't seen Hannibal.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Hey.
You can still make us do Hannibal.
That's what you want to do.
It's getting into spooky season, so I'm
Let's
going
do it.
on
Let's
a
do
little
it.
bit of a marathon here.
I mean,
so it's going to start with Hannibal.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, I didn't say much about it. I just said my little piece. I can deep dive into it. So
good.
And I don't have to do homework. I don't have to do a screening next week.
I really want to watch this one.
Okay, so we're going to be doing Hannibal. And
Let's see how many Hans Zimmer films we can do before the end of the year. Let's go. My next pick, Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, no.
Cool. So tune in next week for Hannibal right here on You Have to Watch This Podcast. We'll be live on YouTube next Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Huh?
It's got to be Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yes, Tuesday. We'll do Tuesday next week. That's right. Yeah. Listen to You Have to Watch This podcast on all major podcasting platforms. Until next time, for You Have to Watch This podcast, I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devin.
And do not go quietly into that good night.
Aww.